Well, hello again and welcome to Goodison Park. There you go. I'm sorry this video is a little bit delayed. I've actually been refreshing the club website, waiting for the statement to drop, apologising to supporters and offering a refund. Yeah, it took Newcastle 28 minutes to score tonight. What took them? They had 5 inside 21 on Sunday against Spurs, and we do joke, but that is the standard they've set. Even 4 goals in the end felt a little disappointing. But yeah, again, wow, you know, another magnificent win, and this was a different type of victory to Sunday against Spurs, and for that you've got to applaud them. I have to say, I was sat there in the press box just behind me there before the game, and what Everton supporters did for their players in terms of the noise and the colour outside with the flares welcoming the team bus. A word on that, Eddie Howe is always thinking. Newcastle arrived on the opposite side and came in over walked over the pitch just to avoid that reception. But when the game came to start, I thought the Everton fans were tremendous. You know, their players could not want for inspiration from that. And I'll be honest, I thought Newcastle did look quite intimidated, quite sloppy during that first 15 to 20 minutes especially. But as I've written in tomorrow's Daily Mail, it was almost like preparation for European football next year. It was hostile environment training. And what did Newcastle do? They do what they did best. They took the sting out of it. You know, at one point I'd written the weather to storm. Well, it wasn't really a storm, was it? It was a light summer shower at best, just because Everton's players were, like I say, were G'd by that home support. I think Nick Pope had nothing to do but really, long shots from range, and Newcastle, when I think back, probably were quite comfortable from a perspective of coughing up chances. Then they do what they do. They score a goal on the transition, and Joe Linton, he'd spent the best part of the first 20 minutes down getting treatment and signalling distress about a hamstring injury. I think looking back, that was part of the dark arts. It certainly felt like rope-a-dope, the way he didn't look like he had a hamstring problem when he burst clear of Ben Godfrey there. Shot is saved, and Callum Wilson follows up. And there's more than one way to win a game, and I just thought Newcastle there tonight showed an incredible versatility, a resilience, and then in the second half it was back to the Newcastle we saw on Sunday, and the way they the way they pick off Everton, the way they can bring on subs who then take them to another level. Eddie's just got so many wonderful options right now, and we asked him afterwards about that Callum Wilson, Alexander, Isak situation, that the scenario he's got there. Isak scored 2 goals, and he's dropped, rested, rotated tonight, whatever you want to call it. Callum Wilson comes in and gets 2 for himself, but somehow we still leave here talking about Alexander Isak, and that was that assist for Jacob Murphy. Now, I'll confess, I had my head down, bashing away my copy. These night games when you're on deadline, you don't actually get to see a great deal of the second half. I'm actually looking forward to watching it back, but I've seen Alexander's assist. I just heard the gasps around me, and I thought, we didn't have the best access to replays, so it was only later down in the press room when I've had a chance to watch it back, and it really is quite incredible. He's Thierry Henry like, that ability to go, to stop, to start, to get away from a man, the quick feet. Even his 2 finishes on Sunday against Spurs, reminded me of Henry. And wow, Newcastle have hit upon there. I've questioned the £60 million fee, and I've questioned Real Sociedad for only getting £60 million out of Newcastle. And this is a player who came from the bench tonight. This is a player who, it was his teammates who did the bulk of the work and putting Newcastle in a winning position, and that just shows the strength and depth which they have got right now. Should we talk about some of the goals? I mean, you forget them. I had this problem on Sunday, didn't I? I think I got the goals in the wrong order when I came to look back, because there are so many of them right now. And as we've said, the first one, Wilson, great reaction to the parry by Jordan Pickford. I'm sure some of you guys probably enjoyed that. The second goal, Joe Linton again. I wrote a bit in the Mail earlier in the week, didn't I? To add goals to Joe Linton didn't need goals in his game. His reinvention was about becoming that midfield destroyer. Patrick Vieira, a little bit of Yaya Toure in there, the way he covers ground as well. He didn't necessarily need to have that goal threat, but now he's back in that left wing position, and that was his 8th of the season there tonight. And what is it now? 4 in the last 5 or something like that. And he looks like scoring goals. He looks like creating goals, and that for me is just taking him up there, among the very best 2, 3, 4 midfielders in the Premier League right now. He is a huge, if not the overriding reason is to Newcastle's recent form, and I thought he was excellent there again tonight. So he gets the second one. What's the third one? I can't remember. Is it Isak or is it Wilson or is it Murphy? I think it's Wilson, isn't it? And you know what a goal that was. Eddie said afterwards, not a typical Callum Wilson goal, but that is what Isak's presence, and that he used the phrase, they're breathing down each other's necks. That's what it's making Callum Wilson doing that goal there behind us. You know, get the ball 25 yards out, open up his body and put it in the top corner, and you know, and then we've got Isak's goal after that, and you know, just spoken to Murphy's goal after that. Isak's assist, yeah, it felt like a goal, didn't it? It was that good, the contribution of Isak. But we've just spoken to Eddie there afterwards, and about, you know, this never-ending game of cat and mouse between us and him. You know, our Newcastle Champions League contenders. He won't say they are. He invited us guys to get our calculators out, and by my calculation, if Newcastle win 3 of the last 6, including Brighton at home, just to remove their threat, that would mean Liverpool would have to win every one of their 6 remaining matches and overturn goal difference to get ahead of Newcastle. You know, in real terms, I honestly think Newcastle now are potentially 2 wins away, just 2 wins away out of 6 games from, you know, from making that top 4, and to have put themselves in this position is quite incredible. 7 victories out of 8, and you know, again, I'm repeating myself on. You know, I should just cut the clips from the last video and the video before that, and the credit I've given, you know, the credit I've given Eddie Howe. And I had a message today from a former Newcastle player who was doing a little bit of punditry here tonight, and he just asked for my thoughts coming into the game, and you know, to sort of colour his thinking a little bit. And I said, you know, you've got to get the message out there that this isn't about money. You know, this is about good coaching. This is about Eddie Howe making every player better, be that the players who he inherited or even the players he brought in. You know, you can say there were good buys. Okay, there were, but you look at Sven Botman, looks a better player than when he arrived. Alexander Isak, you know, that was a question I've asked of Eddie Howe afterwards. Is he actually better than what you thought you were getting? And you know, don't underestimate, even on these big money buys, Bruno Mars, just the power of working under Eddie Howe every day and being around, you know, that environment, that dressing room. And out of that lot, I always say this, you know, who was my man of the match tonight? Well, I think in the end, I would probably give it to Callum Wilson, just for that response. And I've always thought that the first goal was going to be so important here tonight. I said to my colleague who I was sat with in the press box, you know, I thought the first goal would set the tone. If Everton got it, bearing in mind the noise and the atmosphere in here, I just think it would have got their tails up. But the fact that, you know, Wilson shows that awareness to poach the goal he did, and then, you know, get that touch of class there for the third, you know, I probably would give it to Wilson. But again, Joe Linton, brilliant. Bruno Mars, I thought was fantastic tonight. You know, where do you end with this? On the subject of Bruno, again, my Merseyside colleague who works down here said, passed a comment to me, you know, he would be perfect for Liverpool. And I said, yeah, he would be perfect for most teams. But why would he leave Newcastle? You know, Bruno Mars would look at any team in the Premier League right now, bar maybe it's Manchester City, and think it was a step down, if not a sideways move. You know, this club or this team under Eddie Howe and the owners are just about the most exciting project in world football right now. Why would Bruno Mars, Alexander Isak, or anyone else for that matter want to go anywhere else? If anything, it'll be players on the outside looking in, thinking, I want to be part of that. You know, one of those there tonight. I know Newcastle interested in Onana from Everton in midfield, but you know, he wouldn't get into Newcastle's midfield right now. So perhaps they're looking at players who previously were targets in the January window and reassessing it, especially now with the likelihood of having that money and that might of the Champions League and that unique selling point behind them. As for Everton, well, as I said, you know, they set off the blue flares in the street before the game, but it's the red distress signals that they need to send out on the pitch. I thought the manner in which they collapsed, and yes, Newcastle are a good team, and yes, they can do that to opponents, as we saw with Spurs on Sunday. But I look at Everton, and you know, they go down to Leicester on Monday. I know you're not bothered about Everton per se, but you know, it could be influential for Newcastle in terms of the what's been said to me is Newcastle, in terms of summer recruitment, are looking at picking one player from a relegated team. I think they would probably love that to be Leicester, by the way. And to that end, this is the point I'm making, Everton v Leicester on Monday is an absolutely huge match, and because of a certain Mr. Maddison, I dare say Newcastle supporters might just be cheering Everton on in that one. But yeah, I wouldn't hold much hope. I thought they started well, not because of themselves, more so because of the crowd and the way they collapsed in the second half. I think it was pretty alarming. But as I said, you know, Newcastle can do that at teams, and I've just said to, you know, John Anderson down there in the press box, he was walking out, he was talking about Newcastle scoring 6 on Sunday against Southampton. I said, 6, John, come on, be realistic. And we both agreed, you know, 7 or 8 is perhaps a more likely target the way they are at the moment back at St James's. Well, that's it for me for now. I'm told it's really difficult to get a taxi from here, considering the amount of supporters who spill out onto the streets. But bearing in mind most of them left after 70-75 minutes anyway, I quite fancy my chances. So yeah, there's a beer in Liverpool City Centre with my name on it somewhere. I best go and try and find it. I hope you guys have had a safe trip down. If you were here, you know, get back safely if you are watching this video on your way back up north, and I'll see you again. I'll see you again on Sunday after the game against Southampton. Take care. Thanks again for watching. Please hit subscribe. Please hit like. It all does help. Okay, take care, guys. One last scan. There we go. Bye bye.